Hello, everyone. Been a little bit. Only speak if you have something to say. If you don't have something to say, no need to speak. I think we are completely backwards whenever it comes to social media and things that we've committed ourselves to. We've made a commitment to be consistent, and that consistency has diluted wisdom and knowledge and connection. And so we're obligated to speak when we don't have things to say. And because of that, we have a whole lot of nonsense and gibberish and jargon floating around the internet. And you might have something to say. And by all means, say it. And you might have something that you need to say every day. So say it. But friends, if you don't have something to say, you don't have to say it. So I just want to release you from the burden of the society that says you have to constantly be spitting things out all the time. You have to constantly be getting your message out there. Hustle and brand culture has neutered and robbed wisdom and understanding and right seeing because we're trying to build brands instead of actually build people. We're trying to create projections of ourselves instead of actually entering into our true self. And it's completely, we're completely misguided in what all of this stuff is about. If we're not seeking ourself in the spirit, in the secret place, then we don't have anything to give, any truth to give. I got a new bead necklace. So here's my lotus flower, and then here's my cross. Got this cross, right? Really been digging back into my Christianity and nuanced and beautiful in new ways. That it's been really fun. And Jesus says that God is spirit. And he's talking to the woman at the well, and he says that the day is coming and the day is here that you will worship in spirit and truth. So worship just means to give worth. So if we're giving worth to anything at all in our life, we have to understand spirit, then truth. And we have this sort of pissing contest on the internet of who can throw out the most truth, who can have the most truth bombs, who can have the most knowledge on everything. And we're just fall right back into the trap that we get into the West. And it's the neglect of spirit. It's the neglect of being able to hear the eternity, hear spiritual realities, hear things that are supernatural in the world, in the race of who can make the most content. So, not been on here in a bit, and I had a thought this morning that only speak if you have something to say. Only speak if you have something to say. And I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, I think I'm going to go live on Instagram on Spiritual Nomad and talk about this. And how funny is it that I'm speaking right now and I'm saying these things because I guess my something to say today is that you don't have to feel the pressure to speak unless you have something to say. And that's what I have to say today. Let's see, I wrote something down. Let me make sure I don't miss anything here. My handy dandy notebook. I think that's about it. I didn't really rehearse this, but I did write this down because I want it for myself. So, yeah, free yourself from the burden of the content craze. So, just something else too really quick is that I found myself, since I've not been under the pressure of content creation, and I've always been hit or miss with it anyways, but so much more present in the relationships and in the purpose and in the endeavors that are actually happening in real time around me. And I think you can juggle both. I think there's seasons of time that you can juggle both. I think that there's calling to do both and things of that nature. But even with the church, I don't post every single day for it. I don't do all these things because I want to show up and I want to be present. And it's been amazing to see the depth of the everyday living and moving and having being whenever we release this sort of false narrative that we have to always be attending to online things. And so just want to release you from that. I've witnessed it within myself. Just being able to not check my phone all the time, not create content, have a thought and an inspiration, and I am not trying to figure out how to make a graphic for it and say it. I'm not trying to think about a podcast episode about it. I'm not thinking about this. Just simply being with the presence of spirit that leads me into truth. It gives me a new perspective and a way of living that is just more, just the depth of beauty is there. And so it's just incredible, and I want to encourage you to take some time, take a day, a week, a month, a year, and just be with all of the revelations within you and just experience them, witness them, write them down, have those thoughts. And if you have something to say, say it. And if you don't, just be with the beauty of the impression, the imagination, the revelation, and the people who are in your midst. So I'm going to read some of this stuff here that people have said. A wave, some waves. Thank you. Yes, glad it resonates. Been quiet for a long time and dedicated to my practices. So I'm in an opposite zone of feeling braver to speak my truth and my learnings. I absolutely. I think that another note that I had here is obviously if you have something to say, say it. So be brave. If you have something to say, say it. Say it. Be bold with it. I also made a note that some are made for it. And then I crossed it out. I don't know if you can see. I crossed it out because I think that certain people have different capacities. And sometimes you have it in different seasons. Maybe for a season you are supposed to be speaking out. You're supposed to be more bold and brave. And then you retreat. But, I see people they're just like, I'm just a high capacity hustler and I get things done and I can post and wow. And I move the camera around to get your attention so that you will watch my content more and the algorithm will know that you like my stuff. Please, give me a break. So, friends, really enjoyed this message. Thank you. It's something I felt like I was supposed to say, is to tell people to only say if they have something to say. Yeah, yuck, totally. It works, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to do with all of it. Social media can be so toxic. How challenging is it to be creating spirit content through such a toxic medium? It's difficult because it's the same way that... So story. I was playing in a hardcore band and in the punk scene here in San Diego, and the other guys were involved in this sort of like communist community. And so it was really funny. They were talking one time about how they had a Sunday group and they were getting annoyed about authority within the communist group and how to work all of that out. And they were talking about, certain people wanting to go into politics or whatever, because they said, in their words, that you will always be corrupted, if you pursue that and if you go into that. And so I think it's hard because I actually disagree. I think we have to go into those spaces, which, by the way, is why we've started a church, because it's like, I can bitch about it all I want. I can wish things were differently all I want. I can think that there's toxicity and harm all I want, and I can rant and rave with it with all of my friends here on Instagram who say right on. But until I get skin in the game and we open up a church and we start inviting people and the messiness of relationships happen, it will never be changed. And so I think there's an opportunity for media to be redeemed in that same way too. But if you are not wildly mindful about whatever it is that you do that does have toxicity and corruption, you will get sucked into those things. You will get sucked into the rat race and keeping up with the Joneses. And that's why I think it's so important to keep yourself tethered down in the releasing of all of these things. So if you have pure intentions in going to politics, if you're not keenly aware that politics can corrupt you, then you will ultimately be corrupted. If you go into ministry in the church and you don't realize that celebrity pastorism will chew you up and spit you out if you're not aware of it, you have to be constantly reminding yourself that I am not a celebrity pastor. I have come to serve, not to be served. That's what I remind myself all the time. If you come to Instagram and you say, I am here to be brave and speak a particular truth, I have something to say, I have a gift to give people, I have an opportunity on this medium to give life and to invite people into greater abundance and flow and life and mindset and being and presence, then do it. But don't get sucked into the screen time that it takes to do all of these things. In the world, not of it. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that if you are not constantly reminding yourself of that, you will 100% get eaten up with it. 100% you'll be tempted to be eaten up with the world and all of this. Needed to hear this today. Thanks. I questioned hard to come on and to talk about some of this because I've been really enjoying having something to say and then actually saying I'm not even going to say it because it's been this whole experiment. But I felt strongly that some people needed to hear today that, man, if you are under the burden of having to constantly create something to say, just don't say anything and it's okay. You do not have to live under that burden. You don't. I know what all the content marketer gurus try to tell you, but I promise you that having something of weight to articulate in the proper time is much better than constantly just throwing shit out all the time and letting people sift through what is weighty and what is not weighty. I think we should, if we have a message and we have something that we want to say and we have something that we need to get across and there's something burning that we need to articulate, say it. And if not, then don't waste people's time with endless, mindless jargon because you need a post to make. It's just not honoring to people. It's not honoring to ourselves. It's stressful to try to come up with things because we're just supposed to come up with things. No, there'll be seasons where you'll post more. And there'll be a season where I'll be back on here and I'll feel like I need to post 5 times a day because there are just weighty things to articulate that need to get out there. And there'll be times that not. But it's all because I want to have an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying and act in accordance with that. And respect and honor those who give me the time and give me the, responsibility to steward this well and to do these things. And so anyway, just some thoughts while I'm working here this Monday morning. Got a few things rolling, a couple things for Current Collective Church, a couple things for some insurance stuff I'm working on. What a joy. About to go clean my garage and think through some things. But yeah, just to leave you with that. Only speak if you have something to say. And if you don't have anything to say, that's okay. And sometimes if you feel like you have something to say, wait. Just wait. Let it marinate. Sit with it more. We've never lived in a day and age where you can pull a computer out of your pocket and say what's on your mind and broadcast it to the world. Crazy, crazy. And I think we should steward that better than we do. That doesn't mean because you can broadcast every thought to the world that you should. Wait. If you have an inspiration, just give it a minute. If you have something to say, just stew on it. If you need to articulate something, articulate it. I talk to my wife all the time. I burn her ear off. Just before we just go broadcasting everything and making people have to sift through bullshit, just break it down, be with it, calm it down, listen to it. Is there truth that wants to emerge, or am I just rambling and wasting people's time? That's my grid now for content creation. So I'm trying a new experiment with Current Collective on the Instagram there. By the way, even for my church responsibilities, I was doing a Monday morning meditation every single week. Nope, cut it out. It wasn't working. It wasn't jiving. Cut it out. Stopped it. Stopped all these things because I want to get down to the nitty gritty of what is Spirit speaking to me, what is really there as we pan for gold, and then what are the smaller nuggets that we can give out instead of making everyone else pan through the gold for us as we just word vomit. So kind of feel like I'm doing that at this point in time. I think the point's been made. The something to say for today has been said. Bye, friends. Enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you on whenever something like this happens again. Cool. See you later.